Hi, friends. Welcome back to Live at the Roxy on this Monday, January 25th, for our 316th show in a row. I believe we are at 316. You guys will correct me if I'm wrong. It's hard to keep track of all the days, especially when we're getting so much freaking news. I will say on the weekends, it feels like there's not much news coming out. We just kind of talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about. If there was a trailer that dropped, we talk about that. But for the most part, we kind of shoot the shit. And then we are hit with Mondays. And it's like, oh yeah, even though you're stuck at home, the world is still going. And so a lot of stuff is going on in the world of entertainment news, in the world of political news, in the world of news. What's news? I guess we're going to find out here today. Harry Potter, I know a lot of you guys are saying that Warner Brothers has said this isn't happening, but we're still talking about it because I believe that it is. And I have reason to believe that it is. Harry Potter has a live action series that is in development for HBO Max. Is that true? Is it not? We will discuss it all. We will discuss it all. WWE Network is moving to Peacock. That's kind of interesting. It's kind of exciting for the WWE fans. That is probably a big ass move. Trey Songz has an altercation with the police. I don't know if you guys saw this, but this was, whoo, baby. There was footage of it. TMZ released, so we can break that down. And then Biden is repealing the ban on transgender people in the military. It's about fucking time. This is the dumbest ban I've ever heard of in my life. You cannot fight for our country because of how you identify. I mean, suck all the dicks, Trump, for doing that one. Literally suck all the dicks. And we're going to be talking about so much more. Also, I didn't tweet this part out, but I did see a press conference in which they said that they are speeding up the process again to have Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill, which is something that the Obama administration announced. So we can discuss that too. Plus whatever you guys are talking about in the Streamlabs and in the super chat and all of that great stuff. I'm going to check in there. I'm going to check in with you guys. We're going to do a lot of checking in. 2021 check-in. That is feel like the slogan of 2021, making sure your peeps are good, making sure that you are checking in on everybody, including yourself. We always forget about ourselves, but it's important to remember. So streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Please get those in loud, get them in proud. We've been light as fuck recently. I'm sure that means you guys are not doing well, which does not make me happy to hear, but I do appreciate it if you come and support my show all the time and you're watching me and I'm making you smile or I'm making you think or I'm making you anything, then I appreciate you supporting in whatever ways that you can. Shout out to my amazing mod, Jake Yacovetta. He just threw that Streamlabs link right up in this bitch. And sometimes I speak funny. We all do. But sometimes I really, really do. And shout out to all the people that are joining me in here today. John Bainbridge, Santi Martinez, Murderana, Mohammed Belstein, Mason Allen, Joseph Ashley, Robert Turner, Andrew Thomas, Itai Berman, Prince That Wasn't Promised, John Get Bent, happy day after your birthday, John G Smith, Garrett Lee, and so many more. Susie Easton, my girl, Morse Code Z, Brittany Parker, Corinne D, back in the house, Ryan Payne. Almost missed the notification, but you didn't, and that is what I love to hear. All right, let's get to our first Streamlabs of the day. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. This first one just came through from Bojax, who says, I was thinking about a team name for Dan and Ben and came up with Danger Zone. That's kind of cool. Ben and Kaiser love Tom Cruise, and I would buy a shirt that said, Welcome to the Danger Zone. Welcome to the Danger Zone. I don't think it's going to say Highway to the Danger Zone. Also, heard someone else mention Who's the GOAT. Thought that was a pretty good one, too. I don't like Who's the GOAT because then it's like a competition between the two of them. So, I don't know. I get the play on Who's the Boss, but I think they need to drop it and just go with something else. But hey, not my team, not my fucking decision, not my people. So don't need to think more about that. Thank you, Bojax, for that support. Going back into the Streamlabs, one coming through from Live Epic 2099. Wow. It's like we've been to the year 3000, but minus several hundred years because it's just 2099. Wow, what if I'm alive in 2099? I hope so. Rox, hope your Monday is going swimmingly. Curious, what's your take on buying followers? We know what happens. It's almost become an accepted evil. We know companies provide services for gaining followers. Is it just part of life now? Seems disingenuous. So great question, Live Epic. You guys know I'm very honest with you. I tell you everything. I've never bought followers, and I've never bought followers because I think it's actually detrimental in the long run to influencers or actors or people who are trying to build their following. You always end up losing followers because you're losing them faster than you can gain them as bots are getting eliminated. I have no problem with people who do because I get it. Like a lot of the companies that I apply for jobs, they say you need more than 100,000 followers or you need more than 25,000 followers or whatever. So it is very tempting. But for me, when you guys know I'm doing a live show every day, I'm connecting with my people. The number doesn't matter as much to me as the individual. So it just doesn't work for me. But most of my co-hosts have bought a ton of their followers, and that's totally fine. Like I have no judgment about it. It just wouldn't work for me. I am kind of frustrated though, because I just keep fucking losing followers and I don't understand. I was gaining followers for so long. Maybe it's because I'm not on new platforms like I used to be, but it is very frustrating because it's hurting my chances at getting jobs and all of that stuff. So that can be really, really difficult. But yeah, it's just not for me. I don't know about disingenuous. I hear you, but it just doesn't feel like the move. At least not from where I am sitting. Thanks for the question. Another one coming in the Streamlabs from El Machas, who says, this new show is the perfect opportunity for a more diverse representation of the wizarding world and for someone else than the author to share their vision of this world. I'm assuming that El Machas is talking about, obviously, the Harry Potter series. So let's get into that. If you guys have questions, comments, concerns, or thoughts about what this Harry Potter series will look like, should look like, or if it's even happening, Streamlabs them in, super chat them in. Let me know what it is you want to see. So this news broke this morning. I believe Hollywood Reporter was the first place that I saw it. I think that they broke the story saying that there is a Harry Potter series in development for HBO Max. Now, they said it was in very early phases. They said that there wasn't anybody attached to it at this point, and that all they knew about the series, that it was a Harry Potter series and it was coming to HBO Max. There also is a lot of legality to this, because if you guys have been to Universal, then what you know is that Universal has Harry Potter land, worlds, Wizarding Worlds, whatever the fuck it's called. I went there and it was amazing. But it is the theme park that is at Universal, but Harry Potter is a Warner Brothers property. But Warner Brothers has rented some of the rights to Harry Potter stuff to Universal, and so that's kind of an interesting dilemma. But it's not going to keep them from doing on HBO Max a Harry Potter series because of the fine print of the deal. So they are eligible to do this, I believe, but it kind of is like, well, what exactly would it be? Then 5 hours ago, Variety put out an article that said it was titled Harry Potter TV series in early development at HBO Max, but they added this note that was apparently they spoke to somebody from Warner Brothers and HBO Max, and they said Harry Potter. There are no Harry Potter series in development at the studio or on the streaming platform, which is a statement that's made many times by places that didn't want something to get leaked, but it did get leaked. I really, really don't believe that this would be the case. I think that they have to be doing this. I've been talking about this for years. I talked about this on Collider Live. I woke up to a text message from Christian this morning that said, you called this. It wasn't a hard call to make, but I have been calling it for years. If HBO Max wants to be a big hitter, if Warner Brothers wants to play along with the big dogs, if they want to ride with Disney and with Netflix, then they need a Harry Potter series. It is their biggest franchise to be doing a series like this. To not do a series like this is such a disservice, especially when it's an entire world. It is their Star Wars. It is a whole universe. The Wizarding World, you've got magic on your side. So I think that it would be a ludicrous decision for them not to do this. So that's why one of the reasons I believe they're doing this. Also because Variety and Hollywood Reporter and all of those publications said that multiple sources had confirmed that the project is in very early stages. So you have to believe that something's probably happening here. Now, what exactly is happening here? That is the major question, comment, concern of all this stuff, because what the fuck does a Harry Potter series mean? Does all these publications were not calling it a Wizarding World series, and maybe that's just for clickbait and titling, but does a Harry Potter series mean Harry Potter? Because if so, is this a retelling of the books? I think that would be a wild decision for them to make. It's not that the movies came out that recently, because honestly, we put a little bit of distance between us and the movies, but at the same time, they majorly hold up. They're thought of as currents, not classics, and they tell the story that was the books. So if they now did a series on it, I guess they could have Harry and Ron and Hermione and all of our main characters and kind of expand on things and ebb and flow. But at the same time, I don't know that that's the best call. I think probably not. There's been a few different suggestions of what they should do over the years as people have thought about this. I kind of want to go through some of these, but I also want to take what you guys think they should do. So again, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer, right in the super chat. Let me know what you believe a Harry Potter series should be. A lot of people are talking about focusing on Quidditch. What if this was like a smaller show and, they can have multiple shows the same way Star Wars is going to, but if this was like almost like a Friday Night Lights, but in the world of Harry Potter, what if we're following these Quidditch teams? That's kind of a wild choice. I don't think that they would do that. I do think we will see more of Quidditch, but I don't think it will be a Quidditch-based show. A lot of people have talked about making this just the cursed child. I think that it's good when you have text for something, so that could work out well. A lot of people have talked about whether this should be before or after. If this is a prequel, there is a lot of the wizarding world to explore. We have explored some of it, but I do think that there are so many of our characters that we end up seeing later on that we could explore deeper into. And if this is afterwards, then we could check back in with Harry in a couple of years, and it could be more like a Mandalorian Luke situation where, spoilers on Mandalorian, but I think I'm allowed to do that, where we're later on, and then maybe we get a visit from Harry Potter, which could be kind of cool too after we've developed these new characters. So anything in the wizarding world would be fascinating. There's no world in which this shouldn't be a TV show. I don't know exactly which direction, but some direction, absolutely. Rob Fishbeck says, assuming Harry lived then, LOL. I think that there's all different forms. We're talking magic. So there's all different forms in which somebody can come pop up. All different. Corinne D says, what if it was a Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff show instead of Slytherin versus Gryffindor? It's kind of interesting. Give a little bit of love to the houses that didn't receive as much love. I think Hufflepuffs would really appreciate that. Going into the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Ace Money says, hey, Roxy, Steph told a story on SEN about how she was almost kidnapped when she was younger and visiting Europe. How scary, mind blown. Everybody be safe. Monsters walk among us. I don't even know that story. I'll have to listen and ask her about it. But yeah, not related to Harry Potter, but thank you, Ace Money, for letting me know. And monsters do walk among us. That is very true. This we know. Some of them walk in politics and all over the place. Morse Code Z says, Alex Chips made the point that the cursed child works because of the stage spectacle more than the story this morning, which I don't disagree. Read the script book. I think either something with adult big three or something with the Marauders. I think that when it comes to the cursed child working more as a spectacle because of the stage than the story, think about things like Hamilton, though. People use that for Hamilton, and things can always be adapted as well. So I don't know. I still think that there's a way that it could work. I think the adult big three is what a lot of people would want from my generation, but maybe the up and coming generation would prefer not that. Maybe they want new characters. Maybe they want to completely just recast like the big three. If we were going later in life, do you guys think they would recast them, or do you think that there's a world in which they get all three of them back? Because that would be insane. I don't think there's a world in which you get the big three back. Mostly, well, we have heard throughout the years Daniel Radcliffe talk about not wanting to be Harry Potter again, but I don't know where he stands on that. That was immediately after when he was taking on all those indies and stuff. He just wanted to get the fuck out of Dodge and like didn't want to be Harry Potter anymore. And he's kind of more of like he's had more of a Robert Pattinson part before Robert Pattinson is now Batman. Let's just call him Robin. What happened? Robert Pattinson, Robin. So I do think that part of it might be that he just doesn't want to, Daniel Radcliffe doesn't want to do this again, where he's stuck again and feels trapped again and like he can't get out of the Harry Potter mold. But maybe he would be open to it. I think Emma Watson would probably be the most difficult to get back. She's gotten really famous. She's really, really famous. So I don't know that she would want to do that. What do you guys think? Does this come down to finances if they get paid enough? Because Warner Brothers got that money. They could definitely make it worth their while. So it might be something worth exploring. I think that would get the most views. How wild would that be? Let me know. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Super chat in. Tell me your thoughts. If there is going to, well, first by a show of bunnies. Send bunnies if you think there's going to be a Harry Potter series at HBO Max. And send hearts if you don't think there's going to be one. I would be so shocked if there's not one. I'm expecting to see a lot of bunnies here because in what world would they not want to do this? This is the most financially beneficial option for them. Yeah, you guys are sending a ton of bunnies. A ton of bunnies. Yeah, I'm seeing all bunnies. I'm seeing legitimately no hearts and all bunnies. Yep, okay. We're all on the same page that this is motherfucking happening. Let's go back into the Streamlabs, see what you all are talking about in there. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Roxy is fire coming in hot. Thank you, Roxy's fire. Swinger style Harry Potter series about Hagrid in his 20s. That's the move. Oh my God, that's amazing. Also, Rox, what's your take on Newsom lifting the stay-at-home order for California today? Oh boy. So right before this, I actually tweeted at Newsom. I tweeted at Garcetti and I tweeted at Newsom. I'm sick and tired of not being able to get my grandparents' appointments for this vaccination. It is so frustrating. They are eligible. Why can't I get them appointments for this? I don't understand. It's just very, very frustrating. So I know that's not what you just asked about, but LA is doing really, really bad right now. Here's what I don't understand. I don't understand Newsom putting the stay-at-home in place and shutting down outdoor dining and shutting down everything he did and now lifting it. Because he said he wasn't going to lift it until our ICU capacity went up, and it hasn't gone up. So why did you do it in the first place then? One of those two things shouldn't happen. Either you shouldn't have put it into place and you should have let people continue to outdoor dine because businesses are now really fucking struggling, or you should keep it the way that it was because nothing has changed. Why are we lifting something? It just makes it all seem so arbitrary. And the truth is, at the end of the day, this is what we all have to grip with. They are not future seers. They are not future tellers. And Newsom, unfortunately, I thought he was good at his job, and he's not. He's not. We've got somebody who's incompetent. Gavin Newsom is arrogant and incompetent. And same thing with Garcetti. And going into all of this, I thought that they were strong leaders. And coming out of this, I'm like, Newsom was going to probably run for president on a ticket with Cuomo or something. And I don't think that there is a world in which Newsom now could ever run for president because he has fucked this up so bad. And I don't know whether he's getting he lifted it because of all the pressure that he's getting, but then why did you put it there in the first place if you were just going to lift it? Just every decision he makes, I'm like, dude, you whack. You whack. But I do think that there should, if we're going to be doing it like this, like, I don't think it makes sense that I should be able to go shopping for shoes on Melrose, but I can't outdoor eat. It's just not nice to all of the restaurants that are dying right now and they're not surviving, but the Bloomingdales of the world are open. It doesn't fucking make sense. So yeah, that's my opinion on the LA lifting the ban. It's not going to change the way I live at all because I'm staying at home. So we are supposed to shoot an episode of World Girls this weekend, outdoors, socially distanced, like we do once a month. It might rain, so we might have to push that. But other than that, I'm really not doing anything. I'm just trying to figure out how to get my fucking grandparents vaccinated and then hopefully me vaccinated. That doesn't come until later, but at some point, I care more about that than whatever, everything lifting. Maybe I'll be going into work more now. I don't know, because I hadn't been doing that Hoffer thing because shit had been so bad too. maybe I'll be going back in. I really don't know. I don't know. But for the most part, him lifting the ban really isn't going to affect me much because I'm not going out to parties or my friend's place or to bars or whatever. I'm not doing that shit because fuck that. People are dying. People are fucking dying. So thank you for asking my opinion. Roxy is fire. Anybody else who has thoughts on LA or any of the other counties or states that have lifted their bans, or on anything related to Harry Potter or the TV show, or what we're going to see, or when we're going to see it, or how we're going to see it, or what you're hoping to see, let me know. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer and all of that. Plus here in the super chat. No super chats yet today, I don't think. Yeah. You could be our very first super chatter of the day. Let's go to the rest of the stuff going on in the world, because there's more than just Harry Potter news. WWE Network is moving to Peacock. I think that this is exciting because it could get new fans for WWE, because a lot of people, Peacock is now a big player. It's not as big as an Apple TV or a Amazon or a Hulu or an HBO Max or a Disney Plus or Netflix. But then there's that next tier that's trying to make their way up. And I think that this is such a mutually beneficial decision, because this is good for WWE and this is good for Peacock. Peacock is now exclusively the only place in which you can find The Office. So that's a pretty big deal for them. And Peacock has got a lot of stuff that's going on over there. A lot of reruns, and then they're creating new content as well. So I think this is better. And I think that this makes sense and could be really good for WWE, who I don't know if they're struggling right now, but this can only bring more people in. So I think it's pretty awesome. And honestly, I like you guys know I like wrestling. I don't watch enough or that much, but this would be something that would excite me, because this is more like tangible for me. And this might be a way that I get more back into watching more often. So I think this is a pretty smart move on both of their fronts. And I wasn't expecting this. Maybe people who pay more attention to WWE are, but I think this is good. Really good. Any big wrestling fans in here? I think Redford Reddington says, I'm a pro wrestling fan, but I don't know how much a fan base they'll get with this move. People tend to not like pro wrestling. I don't know if that's true. People don't usually like talking about how much they like pro wrestling, but or some people do. I think this is good. Susie says, it's wild how many streaming platforms there are. It'll add up so much money. I know, it's just the same as when I had fucking cable, which I don't have anymore. But all of the streaming services, if you don't share it with your siblings or your family, it costs you $200 fucking dollars. Little less than that, but still, it's a lot of fucking money. A lot of fucking money. Mohammed says, me too, Roxy. I like wrestling too, because wrestling is one of my interests. It's a good reason to like something, because it's one of your interests. Win-win for both of them, says Matthew W. I completely agree. I think this is solid all around. Big announcement, good announcement. I'll take the good announcements where we can get it. Any big wrestling fans, let me know the rest of your thoughts. But other than that, we can kind of move forward, because it's not as big as the Harry Potter news. Let's go in the world of, it kind of crosses entertainment and the actual world. Trey Songz altercation with the police. This was wild. Send bunnies if you saw this, and hearts if you don't know what I'm talking about. This was a story that popped up for me as I was scrolling on my Twitter, and I was scrolling very quickly, and then all of a sudden, I saw a TMZ video. I was like, who is that? And I saw that it was Trey Songz, who was arrested for physical altercation during during the AFC Championship game that he was at. And this was at Arrowhead Stadium. And Trey Songz was there. And the stories are kind of different from different people. But according to the Kansas City Police Department, this is the statement that they issued. They said, during last night's AFC Championship game, fans complained that a man was not wearing the Arrowhead fans' code of conduct or the mandates of the Kansas City Health Department. They asked the private security to address the matter. Quote, the man was not receptive and refused to comply with the Arrowhead security. Security then asked him to leave. He refused to leave. At that point, they requested law enforcement assistance in ejecting him from the game. Officers advised the man that if he did not leave, he would be arrested for trespassing. He still refused to comply, at which point officers told him he was under arrest. The man then punched a police officer and put him in a headlock, this man being Trey Songz. Other officers then came into the scene and were able to get the man into custody without further incident. He was arrested and booked at the Jackson County Jail. So that was the story from the police perspective. Then there were people who were there that were witnesses, the person who sold the tape to TMZ, who a lot of them were calling this racial profiling. A lot of them were saying that they had it out for Trey Songz, but that he wasn't wearing. And then the police said they didn't have it out for him. This just meant Trey Songz was not wearing a mask. It did look like he wasn't wearing a mask from the video, but it also seemed like the cop went to get physical with him. So Trey Songz then put him in a headlock and punched him. The fans in the video, you can hear them screaming, saying like, they were clearly on Trey Songz' side, and they were saying to arrest the cop or get the cop out, and that this was the cop's fault. We obviously don't know. I think this is a very tumultuous time, especially when it has to do with somebody who is a police officer, and especially when you're dealing with somebody who's a police officer dealing with a person of color and a celebrity also. I don't know exactly what happened here, but there were so many people online that were really excited about Trey Songz choking out a cop. And that felt really gross to me, just to be honest, because as much as I sit here and every single day, and I'll continue, Brett Hankinson, Miles Cosgrove, Jonathan Mattingly, arrest the cops who killed Breonna Taylor, all three of them for killing Breonna Taylor. We talk about the lives that have been lost to excessive force and police brutality, and that is something that we won't stand for. I'm not going to sit here and root for somebody to choke a police officer in the same way that I'm not going to sit here and root for a police officer to choke somebody. Both these people are still people. And based on the video, no, he wasn't wearing a mask. And if somebody's at a stadium not wearing a mask, that's an issue. But it also shouldn't come down to a physical altercation. And if he's not wearing a mask and then the police are about to use excessive force, I get why he would feel threatened. So the whole thing was icky. Like, everybody, as I've talked about on this show before, de-escalate. Everybody around was like screaming and hyping it up and was like telling Trey Songz to like choke this guy and hurt this police officer. And then the other cops are helping this police officer. And it's just like, just de-escalate. When you see things like this, we need people to like slow down the situation and de-escalate it and not escalate the situation. It was hard to watch the footage, and honestly kind of triggering for people. So I didn't record it to show on here, but if you guys would like to look it up, it is on TMZ. Just not a good look. Not a good look for anybody involved. I think Trey Songz was released today, or is being released today. And we'll see what ends up happening there. Going back into the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Bojack says, if you could be rich and famous doing what you do now, or rich and famous from being an actor, which would you choose? Well, I'd like to see you in TV and film. I love having your voice in the space talking about things you do. Thanks, Bojack. Hopefully, you don't have to choose one or the other, but definitely as an actor, it's my dream my whole life. That's all I've wanted to do. So, but I do love doing this as well. And I don't think I'd ever have to choose one or the other. I think I'm always going to be able to talk to you guys in some capacity, at least. I'm not always going to be able to go 316 days in a row. Remember that. But, there's not a world in which people can really take away like my ability to just go on IG Live or here or whatever. Garrett Lee says in the Streamlabs, hey, Rox, I'm curious if you have this issue. Oh, I have a lot of friends who've put it out there that they will not get the vaccine. They don't give a good reason as to why, or keep saying they don't trust it or don't need it. Love to you and the rock stars. Garrett Lee, yeah, you must have missed my fucking whole rant on this. Yeah, I have this issue. I know people who won't do this. I have such little patience for this. So frustrating. Get the fucking vaccine. This is what we've been waiting for. Everybody get fucking vaccinated. Just go get vaccinated. This is just, I don't need to go on one of those rants again. I also got so many thumbs down on that video. Not that I give a flying fuck about that. Going back into the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/RoxyStryer. Bojack says, I hate paying for so many streaming services, but I'd rather pay the same amount for streaming services that I use to pay for cable, because with streaming, I'm getting content I want to see versus cable and having 10 channels I watch and 200 I don't. Yeah, I completely agree. I like hand picking my own package, but it is annoying that they're all in different fucking places. Like, I do miss TV where you can kind of just scroll through, and I do think there's going to be a day in which it's a little bit easier to do that. Ryan Payne in the Streamlab says, WWE is not struggling, Roxy. 2020 was their most financially profitable year, despite the fact that they released wrestlers and personnel who needed job security at the time, and their BS policy on wanting to own the wrestlers, third-party subsidiaries like Twitch. Yeah, that's why I thought they were struggling, Ryan Payne, because of all the people that I was friends with and people that I knew who were let go. But if they're not struggling, oh boy, some interesting moves that got made over at that company. But I do like the WWE. I'm not saying I like their policies necessarily. I don't know enough to comment, but I do like wrestling in general. Keep sending in those Streamlabs. Let's get in a couple super chats. Keep it coming, my friends. As we move on, you guys can always let me know what you're thinking about Harry Potter, about WWE moving to Peacock, about Trey Songz and the altercation with the police, or about this next topic, which I'm very excited about. Shouldn't have to be excited about, but am excited about. It was actually pretty cool, too, because as we were talking about Harry Potter, and it was Harry Potter is trending, which, of course, made J.K. Rowling trend because of her transphobia. And then underneath that, transgender was trending. And I was like, oh, no, what the fuck did J.K. Rowling do now? But then I saw that transgender was trending because Biden is removing the moronic Trump law that Trump had a ban on transgender people being in the military, and so Biden repealed the ban. Because no shit. Because we want people fighting for our country who want to fight for our country. And what the fuck do I care if they are cis or trans or non-binary or gay or straight or man or woman or they or them? Just what the fuck do we care if it is a transgender person in the military? It's just the dumbest shit I've ever heard. So, yeah, Biden's impressing me so far. I won't lie. He's getting to work really quick, and he's making some major decisions, and he's doing his shit. And I do not, if you want to put your life on the line for our country, I am so grateful. And I do not care if you have a penis, a vagina, both, neither. If it was given to you by birth, if it wasn't, if you identify as a man, a woman, or anything else, I don't care. And no one else should. Because do your thing. You do you, and thank you for your service. Like, what? Like, we are... I don't even have enough words to explain how ludicrous in 2021 it is that our president would have to repeal a ban that people can be transgender in the military. It's just such a massive step backwards that was done. So thank you, Biden, for doing the right thing. Because no fucking shit, Sherlock. So there's that. There's a couple other Biden things I want to talk about before we get to that. There is a Streamlabs coming in from Apollo 3JP. He says, fam, how are we doing on this Monday? My sister got her second dose of the vaccine last week. Happy to see the rollout happening. Oh, that's awesome, Apollo. Newsom lifting the order is the right move, in my opinion. Doesn't mean people should start being careless, but we need it to open up. But then, Apollo, why did he close it in the first place if he was just going to open it when we don't have anything better going on in California? You know, we are in a worse position, not a better position. So then what was the fucking point of all of it? Let me know what you think, Apollo. Also, our first super chat of the day coming through from our girl Avery, coming on her dad's account. Chris Burke and Avery, our favorite father-daughter duo. Says, hey, Roxy, it's Avery. I'm getting bullied at school by a boy because he is mad that I don't like him. What should I do? How should I handle it? Avery, talk to us a little more. What do you mean you're getting bullied? To what extent? I'm really sorry to hear that. Do you mean you're getting physically bullied, verbally bullied? What does this look like? Because different things can call for different actions. Neither of the things would be okay, but it depends to what extent you're talking about. And then we can put on our... And Avery, are you still 12? Did you turn 13? Just so everybody who's new to the rock stars and doesn't know Avery can try to put on their cap to think about what to do here. I will say this is something that happens when you don't like somebody. If somebody likes you and you don't like them back, they don't always treat you the nicest. Big Mo says, I was the first super chat, LOL. Are you fighting with a 12-year-old? Big Mo, did I read your super chat? Oh, it's up there and I didn't see it. Thank you for letting me know. I'll get to that in a second, but let's try to help out our girl Avery and what we can do here. Legoland says, woof, sorry, Avery, that's not okay. Yeah, it's absolutely not. But we kind of need to know a little bit more. Yeah, is it online bullying? Is it in person? Let us know more. And as you do that, I'll get to the next one. But then hopefully we can give you some more practical advice, Avery. Big Mo says, I really want to see Harry, Hermione, and Ron in the series. Not as the leads, of course, more supporting, have Harry as professor. I just want to see the big three again. I think that if you're going to see them as supporting, they would only come in for like one episode because otherwise contractually it wouldn't really make sense. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking on that. But I think everybody wants to see them who's a big Harry Potter fan. Who in the world who loves Harry Potter wouldn't want to see the three of them come in at some point or have it even be about them? In the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer, Leonard Kim says, a Quidditch series sounds amazing. I'd also love a series with the big three as adults and a series with the big three's children. Perhaps I'm being greedy, though. Happy for the transgender community who wish to serve our country. That was a ludicrous rule. Totally. Leonard Kim, we are always on the same page. We here. All right, let's see. Do we get any answers from Avery yet? Not sure, but let's see. Always childish are bullies, says Manny. A lot of kids are. A lot of kids are bullies. That is just true. 12 says the third turd. That was back in the good old days before I began to despise most of my peers at school. I think things are changing nowadays. Things are moving a lot quicker. It's just... Yeah. David Detura says a story as old as time. A boy bothers girl because he likes her. I know. But we're not supposed to learn that as kids. Like the way they taught us, like if a boy's bullying you, it's because he likes you. And like, that's not a good thing to know growing up. That if somebody's mean to you, they like you. Because then that sticks in our heads. And now we think that if somebody likes you, they're supposed to be mean to you. Which is not true. If somebody likes you, they should be so nice to you and sweet to you. And not do mean things to you. They should be good to you. And then boys growing up learn that it's okay to be mean to somebody because that means you like them. It's not good. None of it's good. No. It's a big fat no from your girl Rocks. All right, getting more Streamlabs and Super Chats about all the things we were talking about as I move on to another thing that Trump just did that I do want to mention briefly because, sorry, I just said Trump. I forgot we were in 2021 and we're in a much better place right now. Just used to referring to our president as Trump. Thank effing God that we've got Biden. A thing that Biden just did that was really good because if Trump had done it, he wouldn't have, because Trump wouldn't have made this decision. In fact, Trump did everything to undo this decision. The Obama administration made it so that Harriet Tubman was going to be on the $20 bill and they want to do a rollout of that. Then Trump came in and kind of put the kibosh on that. And so 4 years went by in which there was no moves made on that. And in a press conference, they were what's that woman's position who answers questions in the press conference, whatever her name is. She was like, yeah, she was asked about the $20 bill with Harriet Tubman. And she said, interesting you asked. I was here when they made that announcement with the Obama administration. This is a priority for the Biden administration and they want to roll it out quicker. They want to roll it out sooner as opposed to later, and they want to make sure that this gets done. How cool would it be to have a $20 bill with Harriet Tubman on it? Like, and not just have all of our dollar bills be of old white dudes, like many of whom had slaves. I'm just excited. I'm excited for the day in which I pay for something with it. I mean, I barely ever have cash anymore anyway, but I am excited for the day in which I pay for something and on that bill is Harriet Tubman. That would be awesome. That would be freaking cool. And somebody worth being on our bills. Somebody's super duper worth it. So yeah, I'm excited for that. All right. Chris Burke, aka Avery, says, I'm 13 now. He's pulling my hair and pushing me. He's getting other boys to text me and tell me to kill myself because no one wants me around. It's so not fucking okay. I think it's gone past the point then that you can deal with it by yourself. Did you talk to your dad about it, Avery? I think that usually it's better for parents to try to let kids to sort things out. But when you're getting text messages saying that you should kill yourself, I think that the school, unfortunately, probably does need to get involved. I think that even though it might at first kind of suck and you might feel like embarrassed about it, there's no reason to because you've done nothing wrong. And I think that this kind of behavior needs to stop. And the problem is if they're doing it to you, you don't even know what other people are doing it to. And you're strong and you've got us and you've got people in your life. And hopefully, you know, when you're getting those text messages that that's not something that you should ever even think about because you are amazing and life is going to be so much more past this. And there's going to be plenty of people in your life who treat you with kindness and the respect that you deserve. So you just got to get to that point. But we don't know about the other little, the other young girls and boys that they're texting things like this to. And so I think they do need to be stopped. So I think you should probably talk to your dad. And I think, unfortunately, he's going to probably have to talk to the teachers and tell them what's happening. The hair and the pushing is not okay either. You should never lay your hands on somebody, but especially those text messages too. All of it's not okay. So I think you got to tell your dad. And I think that your dad has got to talk to somebody in charge. And I think that these kids are going to have to be spoken to and they're going to have to change their ways because it's really, really not okay. Really not okay. David says that kind of behavior is reprehensible. Definitely let your dad know ASAP, says Bruce Banner. Brittany Parker says takes off earrings, grabs Vaseline. That's funny. Matt Link says definitely not okay. Should be reported because that behavior needs to be squashed ASAP. John G says these fucking kids and bullying like that can't get away and ignored like kids in the past. That's horrible. Yeah. Spidey Sensei is reminding you, Avery, that life gets so much better once you leave high school and move away from your shitty hometown. I know you're 13, so that's still probably middle school where you are, but it really does. It gets so much better and you don't have to deal with just such jerks all the time. We're rooting for you. Please keep us posted and please let your father know if you haven't already. And I think you got to talk to the school. Jake Yakoveta says, much love to Avery. That's not okay. We want you around. We need you around, Avery, because you're the next generation coming up of good people, and we're going to need really good people around on this planet. So those are my thoughts on that. Hopefully that helps. Okay. Going back into the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer, and then we are going to be getting out of here very soon. So get in any last minute questions, comments, concerns. Paul 3JP says, I agree. Unfortunately, the answer I keep coming up with is politics. Side question. Oh, your answer to why he closed things down in the first place. Side question. Would you date anyone who had COVID, fought it off, and now has the antibodies? Kind of makes them badass. No. I'm not really dating anybody. So COVID's not really the factor. Also, the problem with the antibodies is like a lot of people who had the antibodies no longer have the antibodies, and you don't know how many months it lasts for. It's not a definitive amount of time. I know people who got it in March and April who no longer have the antibodies. I know people who do have the antibodies. But it's not like COVID is it's not like it's a rampant STD where like you'd have it for the rest of your life. If somebody had COVID and they fought it off and they now don't have it, of course, at some point in life, you date somebody who had COVID. But right now, it's just like too dangerous to see anybody. So Andrew says, LL Apollo flip-flopper. Oh my God, there's no way he's talking about me. Oh my God. No way, Apollo. I think it was a hypothetical for Steph or some shit like that. Yeah, that's what I think. We're just going to take that for what it is. Manny says, is Steph watching flip-flop alert? Oh my God, you make it so hard for yourself, Apollo. You make it so hard for yourself. All right, let's get on out of here, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today live with Roxy. Thank you for your support and your continued support. I'm going to take some last minute Streamlabs before I say goodbye. So get those in the next couple of minutes. Streamlabs.com or in the next minute. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer or right here in the super chat. Don't forget to thumbs up this video. I've been doing these new thumbnails. I don't know if you guys have seen, but I think that in the last couple of days, they have helped a little bit, get a couple more views. But really what helps the most is if you guys comment. If you comment on each video after the fact, if you thumbs up it, I know that a lot of you guys right now financially are like tapped and cannot support in that way. And I totally get it. But if you can, please, after doing the view, or watching this, if you just like it and comment, make sure you're subscribed. Those things go a really long way. And also, if you want to jump over to Apple Podcast and rate and review over there as well, that would be very, very helpful. And I appreciate it much. I much appreciate it. That's better. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Leonard Kim says, as a side note, do you have an update on when Natalia can come live at the Roxy? I'd love to hear her thoughts and opinions on what she expects from Biden's presidency. Let me reach out to her this week and see when is a good time coming up, because I always love having her on as much as possible. It's a good reminder, Leonard Kim. Appreciate you. Really appreciate you. Evan H says, comment. No, it's got to be afterwards, not through the chat. It's got to be afterwards, like one of those hard comments that stays. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. All right, make your bed, guys. I know a lot of you guys have been, which is making me really happy. Put down the toilet seats and the lids. Reach out to your loved ones, those who might need a little extra help. Think about all the bullying that is going on in the world and all the ways that we can combat that by putting as much love out there as humanly possible. That's really the only thing that we can do. Congrats to you all for making it through 316 days of quarantine. I will see you guys on day 317 of quarantine right here live at the Roxy. And and I'll be back. I'm on SEN tomorrow morning, World Girls Wednesdays and Sundays, Only Stupid Answers on Friday mornings, and anything else I'm doing, I will keep you guys posted. Shout out goodbye to all of my people, Morse Code Z, Tim Koscuba, Thunder God Cairo, Ryan Payne, Travis Gilbert, Mohammed Belsin, Manny Gonzalez, Susie Easton, Brittany Parker, Rob Fishbeck, Danny M, Ben Rayner, Matt Munoz, Evan H, Andrew Thomas, Joseph Ashley, Avi Vitzman, Matt Link, Jake Yakavetta, Big Mo Podcast, Chris Martinez, Bruce Banner, Third Turd, John G, Redford Reddington, Jeff Alterman, Juan Mendez, Chris Burke, and Avery. She says, thank you for the awesome support. You guys are awesome. Or thank you, everybody, for the support. You guys are awesome. You're welcome, Avery. Please keep us posted. Logan James Kinniston, Murderanta, Garrett Lee, Almog Dove, Robert Turner. All right. You guys are seen, you're heard, you're loved. And you'll be seen and heard and loved tomorrow, live at the Roxy.